Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I'm getting a lot of questions lately, Don, with no cruising going on and, with all the scares that are out there, will you cruise again? Hmm. So one of the questions I'm getting is, Don, what will it take to get you back on a cruise ship? What do they have to do to make you want to go back on a cruise ship? And I kind of think the question is reversed. To me, it's more along the lines of what would they do that would keep me away from the cruise ships? Because I love cruising. It's part of my life. It's part of my hobby. It's my enthusiasm. I love to cruise. If I could not cruise anymore for some reason, would I still travel? Yes. I just wouldn't do it by a cruise ship. Cruise ship just tends to be my preferred method of travel. I can go anywhere in the world pretty much on a cruise ship, and I can get a tailor-made vacation on that cruise ship to what I want to do. And it's a lot easier to organize a cruise trip to certain parts of the world than it is to fly in different hotels and things like that. So yeah, much, much easier. Try going into, a 20-day cruise that goes to Taiwan, China, Japan, all those areas, and try and do the exact same trip, coordinate it by yourself by flying in and staying at different hotels. Way, way more complicated, way much more visas, it would be a mess. So yes, I would still travel, but I want to do it by cruise ship. So I'm going to cruise again unless something dramatic happens. And what would it do? What do I don't want to see in the cruise industry? Well, first off, I don't want too huge of changes. Changes for safety and changes for cleanliness, fine. That's a good, people serving in the buffet. Yes, absolutely. No problem. The heat sensors on the way in. Yes, no problem. Have no problem with things like that. More cleaning on the ships, more disinfecting on the ships. Great. But I also don't want to walk around where every crew member is wearing the masks everywhere I go. Even the dancers or, the piano player, the bartender. I don't necessarily want that on the cruise ship. And I know in some parts of the world, it's almost second nature to see that nowadays. I really don't. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that at Disney World where, cast members are greeting you and everything all with masks. These places should be there to take you away from the problems of the real world, not to remind you of the problems of the real world. And so I'm hoping we don't get to that point. Or if we get to that point, it's not an ongoing situation where it's now mandatory forever. At some point, this will be cured. At some point, they will get this done and it won't be a big thing anymore. Do we still continue to do all these stringent rules at that point? Probably not. We didn't do it after the other outbreaks of different things throughout the time. Remember SARS? Who remembers the last time you were stopped and checked for SARS? Nobody. So yeah, I don't want to see that kind of stuff. I don't want to go to places that decide they're not going to do shows anymore because the theater is going to be closed. I don't want restrictions like that. It's just, I don't want 5 dining times because they're only going to allow 30% of the people into the dining room at one time. It takes away from one of the things that I love in cruising. I don't want to have people upstairs on the decks blocking how many people can go out onto the pool deck at one time. You see the restrictions that might go overboard that would take away from the enjoyment of cruising, and then I would just wait until those restrictions are gone. So it's not necessarily about what they need to do to get me back on a ship. It's more about what they would do to stop me from getting on a ship right now. And those are some of the things that I hope they don't go overboard and too crazy. in some of their suggestions. I've been reading some of the suggestions, for instance, of Walt Disney World opening up, and they're saying they're going to open up with no parades, no shows, no castle shows, no inside performances, no fireworks. And I'm going, well, that's Disney. You're taking away the magic from the Magic Kingdom. So why would I go right now? Why would I go for a less experience? I probably won't. I will go someplace else. I'd much rather go spend my time at a Greece hotel overlooking the ocean where I'm getting what I'm paying for, the Greek Isles and the scenery and things like that, than going on a place and being restricted from the things I'm allowed to do that I normally would do. And that's just my personal opinion. Many other people are quite willing to do those things. Myself, I'd rather wait until things are a little bit back to normal before I spend my thousands of dollars to do these things. Because travel is not cheap. Cruising is not cheap. Staying at Walt Disney World is definitely not cheap. And why would I spend all that money on less experiences? I probably won't. So that's where I stand on that. Will I cruise again? Yeah, it's going to take an awful lot to keep me away once things open up again. But will I be that first person on the ship? No. Will I wait about a month until I make sure there's no more things blowing up? Yes. That sounds about right to me. And will I go if there's so many restrictions out there that I'm not going to enjoy the experience anymore? Probably not. I will wait. And if I'm a person that you're going to lose in your cruise industry, you probably don't want to make those changes too severe, because I'm the person who keeps going and going and going and going. I'm the long-term customer that has been around forever. And so if I don't want to go anymore, that will be a problem for the cruise lines. And if a Disney fan doesn't want to go to Disney because of changes, that's a problem for Disney as well, and every place that's opening up as far as travel is concerned. Well, we'll see what happens. Will they do enough to get me away from the cruising? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to do enough to say, Don, don't do it anymore. But you never know. You never know with what's going to go on in people's minds and the reactions that they have to all these things. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe, and whenever we can, if we want to, have yourself a great vacation.